Today I'm going to talk about how I turn my negative mindset around and how you can too. By the way, if you like videos on mindset, how to grow your customer list, and build a real brand, then subscribe to my channel as I have new videos each week.
It's the Morning Marketing Machine, here to grow your e-commerce business with proven marketing strategies and tactics, so you can run your business with machine-like precision. My name is Douglas Levin. Let's dive in.
Hi, my name is Douglas Levin, and I built a 20,000 person messenger list ahead of the launch of our first product, which led to 20,000 in monthly sales within our first 3 months of launch. I also have a link to a free cheat sheet below with tips on how to take control over your e-commerce income. Do you see millionaires and billionaires talking about the secrets to their success? They're always working on their mindset? And maybe you're still struggling with yours, like letting those negative thoughts get to you. You know, everyone keeps saying how it's a big part of their success, but no matter what you do, you just can't win. Well, that was me. See, when I started, I was a musician with like no business experience, and I made like mistake after mistake. I really wanted the business to work, but I keep failing. And after every failure, I dwell on it, like getting more and more depressed and worried that others would judge me and figure out that I'm just bad at business and that I don't really belong here. So it was like this vicious cycle that just wouldn't stop. I'd make a little bit of progress, but then I would make a mistake and it would screw up like all the progress that I made, because it was like my sole focus the rest of the day, and it would just keep me up at night. See, what's great about business owners is that we obsess about everything. We love what we do, but what's also bad about business owners is that we obsess about everything, right? So when something goes wrong and you're in that negative mindset, it's not just like a simple mistake, it's another reason why you're a failure. And you're just never gonna go where you wanna go when you think about it like that. And that's how it was. So this pattern would keep repeating itself for years, like in my business and in my life. I make a little bit of progress, right, in my business, but I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. Make 1,000 mistakes a day. So then when that mistake would come, because they always come, it would like completely derail my confidence. And then those negative thoughts would come into play, right? So it would keep me up every night. Like I would be stressing, like my wife would be asleep and I just couldn't sleep because I was thinking about all of these things that were going on. And it would like lead to bickering and arguments with my family and just about everything I was doing. Like it would affect every part of me. I just didn't think I was worthy or capable enough to have what I dreamed of, right? I was always like sabotaging myself. There were literally times I should be working and I'd basically just be pretending I was and fooling myself. Or I'd be so sick of how things were going and in my head so much that when I should be working, I would just be laying in bed, like curled up in a ball. I'd just be obsessed about everything that was going on negatively in my life and in my business, and how it was so much worse than it probably really was. And it was just because I was in my own head and everything was so terrible. I just had that negative mindset. And I just thought there wasn't a better way to do this. I just thought I was gonna fail at this, and I'm just gonna have to go back to like a 9-to-5 job. I'm gonna go bankrupt. They're gonna figure me out. I'm a fraud. Like all of these terrible things were going on in my head. They're like, why do you think you could do this? You're a freaking musician who doesn't know the first thing about business, right? It didn't matter that I was a business owner for like 3 or 4 years. It's still what was in my head, and it would just make things so much worse every day. If any of this sounds like something you might have gone through, then leave a comment below. It wasn't until I was ready and put myself in a position to actually accept the change that I finally started to make that change. You have to believe that it's possible, that you can actually get where you want to go, that there's nothing holding you back, right? Because there's like a Henry Ford quote that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I think about this more and more. I mean, they talk about, and I think and grow rich a lot. And you've heard a lot as well. Like it's about your mindset, right? And when you think about that quote, it gets back to where I was. I thought everything I was going to do was going to lead to a negative position, right? I thought that, well, what's the use of doing this? I'm going to fail. Or, well, look, I made this mistake here, so it just shows that I'm not cut out for this, right? And it just kept like getting into my head, and it wasn't until I was in a position to be ready, and I truly realized that these are the things that are holding me back. This is what's sabotaging me, and I don't need to be like this. If you look at everybody that's out there that is having success, they don't think like that. Yes, it's very possible those thoughts are coming into their head, but they're not thinking about that all the time. They've got a way to get rid of that negative thought, and they start thinking about everything that's going right. And this gets back to the idea of the journaling and of the affirmations of everything else that you do. You have to put yourself in a position to start to think about all those positive aspects of your life. And it starts to create this virtuous cycle then, as I've always had Brian say, is that they're going to start to compound over and over again, where you start to see the success happen. You'll start to see like yourself get to the point that you want to get to. But if you have a negative mindset, it's not going to happen. Maybe a few great things will happen, but you'll start to sabotage yourself because you're just going to think about, well, yeah, that's great. I've got this thing happen over here, but I made this mistake and this mistake, right? And that's what I was doing. So once I finally put myself in a position to accept those positive things and start to think about what I can really be, right? That I started to see all these amazing things that started to happen. I mean, I still make 1,000 mistakes a day. I'm sure I make at least like 20,000 every day, right? But I'm much more confident in my own skin. I'm more positive about everything that's going on throughout my day, throughout my business life, throughout my personal life, right? And it has opened up a whole new world to me. I mean, if you were to talk to my wife or any of my family, or people that I deal with on a daily basis in business, they're not going to say that I'm looking at things from a negative perspective. They're going to say how my outlook is on the positive side. And it's because I have accepted like all of those negative things. I still have negative thoughts that come in, but I don't let it get to me anymore. I focus on, all right, I acknowledge that I'm having this thought, because you're always going to have thoughts that creep in, right? You can't control the thought, but you can control what you do with them. So at that point, yes, okay, I can have those negative thoughts, but let me think about all the positive things that have happened and will continue to happen, and what purpose I want in my life. Like where do I want to go, right? And when I start to have these things like my morning routine, the visualization, the affirmations, all of that stuff, it starts to put me in a much more positive outlook on life, where you don't really realize it, but then all of these amazing things start happening to you. And I know it's happened to me, where like in the past, right? I was curled up in a ball, not really working, obsessed about like what's going to happen in my business. And now I love going to work, right? I love everything that I do. I have a purpose. I know what it is that I want to do with my life. I know how I want to spend my time with my wife, right? In terms of spending time every day with the family. And I know that it's not just about the money that I want to make and that I am making. It's about what kind of an impact that I can have in people's lives, right? And that's my purpose. And I found that by putting myself in a position to be ready, to be accepting of the positive things that can happen in my life, knowing that I'm worthy of this now. I'm not a failure. Like, yes, I'm going to make 1,000 mistakes a day, but it's not that I made failures, it's that I'm getting feedback, right? It gets back to the quote that I love, that there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. So if I can take this setback and look at it from the perspective of feedback and learn from it and grow from it, then I'm going to get where I want to go, right? And now I'm thinking about it from that perspective. I'm not thinking about it like I'm a failure because I made this mistake, right? So just if you're thinking about yourself in terms of that negative mindset, then you have to get yourself to a place where you're accepting of the positive aspects. And I've talked about the different things that you can do every day, but you really have to believe it's possible, because it, like the Henry Ford quote, right? If you believe you can or you can't, that's what it's going to be. So I know I've talked to friends and family who I see that negative mindset, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that they are not going to be happy in their life. And it takes you understanding that and wanting to have that better life and be willing to put in the work and effort that comes with it to get there. And if you're able and accepting of that and know that you're going to look at things from that positive perspective, then it will come. Right? That's where those morning routines come into play, about the affirmations and the visualization and the writing every day. And when you look at things like when you're journaling, you're looking at the positive aspects. So that's why they do it that way they do when you're talking about journaling. We get back to the idea of what are the 3 amazing things that happened, right? And how can I make my day even better, right? It comes back to your mindset and thinking about something from a positive standpoint, and it will come. So that's it for today. So remember, if you're looking for more tips on how to take control over your e-commerce income, then click the link below in the description for a free cheat sheet. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tips on mindset, how to grow your list, and building a real brand. So I'll talk to you guys next time. All right, bye.